right, the big news of the day, the authorities that have been looking at the details and the applications for emergency use authorization for the vaccines being created and manufactured by Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech had their first meeting today. At the end of this meeting, they have asked for more data. So there has not been any kind of hold on the process, nor has there been a rejection of sorts of any kind. Actually, they just want more data. This is actually heartening because it shows that we are going through a thorough process. The Pfizer vaccine candidate was not up for scrutiny or in the discussion right now. But even as we wait for this process to unfold and everyone's on tenterhooks wondering when this emergency use authorization will come, when will we get our vaccine, it's important to understand what the process is and what the checks and balances are. Helping me do that today is Dr. K Ganguly, who's the former DG of the ICMR. Dr. Ganguly, great to have you on the show. And simply put, can you begin by explaining to us all the factors that will be seen by government authorities before actually giving any kind of approval?
Actually, what has been done, Tamanna, that one of the vaccine data which is available on the net and was considered and in the publication realm was the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. This has gone through all the processes. The platform was known to them. Platform was tested in the population before. So the spike protein RBD was the part of this platform in the chimp adenovirus, which is not there in the population. Antibodies are not in the population, and they did conduct a very large trial and gave the data first for the approval to the UK government and then to US government. UK government, I heard, is going to take decision in few days time. They have completed the phase 3 and waited for 2 months to look at the data, and so the whole data which was requirement that look 2 months after phase 3 they have completed. So Serum Institute did a very small trial over here in the phase 3. This is a global trial. As soon as the global trial approval is obtained in UK, I think the entire data set will be available in India, and then Indian government might approve it, because this is more than around 40,000 up to 60,000 data sets which have been done globally. As far as the Bharat Biotech vaccine is there, in Bharat Biotech vaccine,
simply for our viewers, one minute, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just please, if you allow me, because I want you to explain this very simply for our viewers, because these are medical terms, these are scientific protocols. The data for the Oxford vaccine, a large amount of that data is trials conducted outside India. The bridging trials of sorts that Serum Institute have done is on Indians. Does it make a difference when Indian authorities like the CDSCO looks at that data? Will they take into consideration whether the trials have taken place on Indians? Would that be a factor?
Tamanna, what happens that lot of expat Indians have taken part in the trial in UK trials. The trial was done in UK, Brazil, USA, many places the trial was done. So a lot of Indian expats has taken part. What Serum Institute has done, it has done the large part of trial in India on several thousand, but ultimately the decisions are being taken on 40,000, 60,000. This is the number for the phase 3 where the decisions are being taken. So the data has been, the good point is the data has been submitted to UK government. I heard that in 1 or 2 days the UK government decision will come, and this decision, when it comes, Indian CDSO taking the Serum Institute data will have very easy passage to pass it, because this is the only vaccine at the moment with the Indian CDSCO which has completed 2 months follow-up after phase 3, because this was a requirement which was put up by the regulators in the EMA as well as the US FDA. Because if you don't follow up at least for 2 months. Actually 6 months are required, but at least 2 months follow-up was decided to take a decision. Now, if I go to Bharat Biotech vaccine started phase 3 only after November 11. So if you complete 28,000 which they had promised for phase 3, and they do an impossible task of completing this by end of November and give first dose to phase 3 and do the serum sample collection after 10 days and then analyze that and give the second dose. So suppose if they have given the second dose on 1st December, it will be 28 days after that, the second dose, after the first dose after 11th November, and if they complete by end of November, they can give the second dose only on 28th December. And after that, they collect the samples, they analyze the samples, they have to give it to DSMB. They have to give at least a week to
Yes.
DSMB, and after that it has to go to regulator. They will also take at least a week or 10 days for a decision making. And even if they do it, they will not
No,
have a follow up data
Dr.
of two
Ganguly, the
months
question that comes to mind is, yes. So the question that comes to mind is, then why have these two companies applied for an emergency use authorization if they clearly don't have enough data yet? They need more time.
So what I guess, this is a guesswork only, because companies have not consulted me why they have done it. They perhaps wanted a first review by the CDSCO. So this is a wise move. So they have got all the questions over there. So when time comes for the final submission, they will have a better data set to submit. So Serum Institute one, perhaps in few days when they have the full data, because their international DSMB, which is very independent DSMB, must have gone through it. It will be easier for India to take a decision, and maybe by the January we might be able to roll it out. But I want to bring in two more points. The Pfizer vaccine, which has now been given to UK nationals, and perhaps after tomorrow will be given to US nationals. The US didn't pick up the entire order which they have given. So 600 million doses which US had promised to buy again and booked has not really given the order. Now the deadline for manufacturing them has been completed. So if the Pfizer vaccine data from UK, which is a very good data which is coming up, almost no reaction, few very mild reactions, and the US data will come up, government of India might examine
Yeah.
it, because there also Indians have been taken part. Now Pfizer has booked the air cargo lifting, and Pfizer has
Yeah.
also, the Luxembourg farm, has created -70 freezing things. It will be very easy
Sure.
for them to really store it in the cargoes,
Yeah.
and then these cargoes then can distribute it to their first responders in India, which are actually aggregated responders, around 2 crore such responders. They can be easily
Yeah, I
accessed.
mean it's easy. It's I mean obviously there are ups and downs for each combination. A vaccine that has to be stored at -70 degrees is not going to be easy no matter what. But there may be more data to push it through faster, is what Dr. Ganguly is saying, because there's already a precedent from the authorities in US and UK and possibly US. So an interesting space to watch, but also to understand that patience is a virtue in this particular context, even more so, because we need to go through the steps, have all the data, so that there is confidence that we have the right vaccine. Thank you so much, Dr. Ganguly, for joining us and explaining this to us.